Howdy folks, this is Quartz 1119, the head frame hunters. We're doing various utility work. So our main dewatering discharge line has dropped down. So what we're doing is bit by bit picking it back up and rehanging it onto our rock bolt plates. This right here, this is what tipped us off. Something was wrong. You could hear it squeaking, and then we were getting HDPE shavings falling down. So it tore this pipe up a bit. We decided to, this is the worst bit right here, so we decided to rehang it before it could cause a rupture. Then we'd have to either patch it or replace the part of the line. We do have an HDPE fusion machine, but we'd rather not. We'd just rather not do it if we don't have to. Here's a previous ventilation repair. I'm gonna need to be patching this. Our raincoat patch blew off and it was causing a serious bypass. This actually requires gap filling because the bag itself, the skin is kind of gone. And this one up here was actually worse. It was caused by a U-bolt on the side-by-side roof, ripping it open, and it was probably splayed out almost a foot wide and bypassing probably 70% of our ventilation that was supposed to go to the face was coming out of here. Now we just used zip ties. This mine runs on diesel, Harbor Freight zip ties, plumbing parts, and bad language. And I've got most of the hangers cleaned up, cut that one. Because these hangers, if they snag on a ROPS, then it can start trying to unravel the whole bag. And once it starts to unravel, that's where you'll get a hole. So right up there where my lamp is, it transitions over to galvanized steel rigid bag, which is both suction and pressure rated. Ultimately, we'd like to drop this entire section of inflatable bag, which is only pressure rated, it's not suction rated. We'd like to drop all of this, replace it with suction rated spiral, reverse our main fan, and convert the decline that we're standing in right now, convert it over from exhaust air to intake air, which will, first of all, it'll cool things down here. Our air temperature is fine, it's not a problem, but it'll cool things down and it will greatly reduce our cumulative particulate matter and soot exposure, as well as our dust exposure. It's right about 100 feet of bag that we're going to have to replace with spiral. So we just got that hung. We've got the side-by-side Austin Powers and shock for extra safety. Safety, it's when you're safe. And we're gonna get the tailgate underneath the Vic couplings there.
Still down, but they have to back up so I can pull up.
This is an operation. Well, it is far from perfect, but it's a lot better. It only really drops at our fire hose. I don't love that, because that's side loading our Vic there. We want to take care of that. But so now what Gail and I are doing, we're walking the decline on foot. We're up at about the 90 level, and we're listening for leakage. So right here at this butt joint, we've got blow by right in that spot. So I'm gonna put some Gorilla Tape over that, see if we can't quiet it down, because this is all cumulative. Every place that we're losing ventilation pressure, it cuts our flow at the face. So now we've compounded the Frankensteining with Gorilla Tape. We We went from, probably blowing a couple thousand CFM out of here to, I don't know, 100. It's just real difficult to properly patch something when the pressure on it is limited and you only have access to one side. So we got it as good as we could. And here's the 80, yeah, that sounds, I agree. And here's our real fun one where there just is no bag. So
anything we can do
will improve it.
Will be an improvement.
Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna take tape sticky side down and put it inside the bag to give an adhesive surface and see how that works. That was not something that I was going to be able to adequately demonstrate while filming, but essentially what we did is we put the tape inside the bag, sticky side facing out, and allowed the ventilation pressure to push it down, then put tape onto that so it's sticky side to sticky side and it's actually kind of clamping itself. And we've probably cut in this 15-foot section, we've probably cut our air leakage by 95%. So I'm excited to see how it's looking down at the face. We should have possibly tripled our ventilation down there today. It's been, our ventilation down there, we've had issues. This ripped out after we finished mucking, and it's just been a real bugbear. I'm excited to have it taken care of. Tire killer in the muck bag. We're probably 2 hours from being able to muck. Water levels come down quite a bit. I don't mind running the machine in a couple inches of water. It's when the water's high enough that we can possibly get water intrusion into the final drives or the differentials that we will not run. Those are some of the most expensive and irreplaceable parts on those machines. Now let's see how our vent is doing down here. Quite a bit better. Yeah, that is a lot better. I'm pleased with that.
Yeah, sure, go ahead and hit the record button so I can talk about my up pattern. Like, can we swear in this? Because I'm gonna.
If not, I can edit it out
Yeah,
and
bleep
post.
it out, otherwise you'll get demonetized. Oh wait, we're not monetized. Anyways, this is supposed to be the center. I'm doing a 5-spot, some people do a 6-pack. That's your diamond around the world here. Eventually this is gonna be an arch, but I'm retarded. Is that gonna get bleeped too?
No, it's
Oh,
an arch.
My teacher girlfriend yells at me when I say retarded, but she's also a sped teacher, which is why she's dating me. Anywho, you're supposed to make a pattern, supposed to make an arch, supposed to make a diamond in the center, and then drill it out and try not to murder yourself and keep most of your holes square with each other. Square and parallel. It's a lesson in geometry. Stay in school, kids!
No, don't. I make more money as a mechanic than I did as an engineer.
Yeah, no kidding. But these holes be angled up a little bit because I'm short, and then trying to make the back of the hole and get our 10 feet by 10 feet.
Yeah.
That's all I got, unless you want to add something.
Yeah, so we're going to be drilling with 8-foot steel at these upper holes. So see how we kind of suck it in a little bit to get that arch as in our previous shot.
8 foot, but not chucking out all the way. Basically
Yeah.
7 foot and change.
Because they're going to be angled up. That way I think the base leg of the triangle is going to be about 6 feet like the rest of the pattern. Because that's why we have this kind of funny thing. The arch is kind of curving back towards us all the way up at the back right now. We had done a 6-pack Aught 24 burn. This is the 5 of dice. I know a lot of guys like this pattern or like that burn design. Honestly,
I
it's
might still put one hole right there and then just leave that as the center burn and then pop around it.
that'd work. I mean, it's 5 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's close enough.
The burn's where the magic happens, though.
Yes, it is. Your burn and your relievers is what determines if your shot actually pulls. Because if your burn misfires, you're booting the entire round. If your relievers misfire, you're booting most of the round. If your knee hole, if you have a misfired knee hole, you're gonna have a bad time. If you have a misfired lifter, you've got a hard knob and a weird muck pile. If your back hole misfires, well, it'll probably bar down to where you want anyway. So
What the do I know? You're gonna bleep that again, probably. I'm just a sales consultant who's running a jackhook on the weekend like a moron.
the least fun part. Digging out and drilling your lifters. I scrape the face about as much as I can with the LHD, and the rest of it's got to be done by hand. It is not fun. Drilling them is about the same, but at least you get the full force of your leg with the way it's angled.
Hit me. Good. Sorry. Hit me.
I'm not sure if you could hear it over the sound of the Penberthy, but that process there, we were blowing the ANFO into the holes, which is that ammonium nitrate fuel oil prill. Each of those holes that's loaded with ANFO is primed with a single stick of Geldyne, good old-fashioned gelatin dynamite. So we went through 2 bags of ANFO, about 75 pounds or so, and the remaining 3 holes are going to be loaded with stick entirely. Personally, I prefer the way that the stick shoots. I consider it to be a little more reliable than the ANFO, but that's all just personal preference. I mean, they both get the job done. We're going to be trying to get a little bit of an arch in here. I don't love this pattern, but hopefully it'll work. I need to go get a couple more sticks of Geldyne, get the deck cord to build our ring main. We'll want about 12 to 16 feet of deck cord to get about a 3 to 4 foot diameter ring main, and we'll hook all of our J hooks on our non-Ls into that, tail those off, get it nice and as circular as we can, then tie our cap and fuse into it like the cap and fuse, and head to the portal as fast as we can, because usually time it for about 7 minutes. About 7 minutes later, there's going to be it's going to feel like about 8 miniature earthquakes. So what Gail's doing here is called tying in. We've got our deck cord ring main here. She's hooking all of the delays to it, all the debts to it with these. These are called J hooks, and they snap over the deck cord. So when the deck cord initiates at some absurd number of feet per second, it's like 3,000 feet per second, it's way supersonic, it will trigger all of the debts via the non-L, which is a plastic tube with a little bit of PETN in it. It will initiate all of the caps, and then they go off after their specified delay. Let's see if we can find a tail. So here's a number 15, which no, these don't actually show the delay on the tags. They show them on the boxes, but they're measured in basically tens of milliseconds. So that way we get our burn going off, then our relievers, then our outer holes, knee holes, and then last but certainly not least, our lifters and our arching holes.
And our sacrifices to the gods of the underworld will be accepted.
Yep, rubber ducks. Now we get to see if rubber ducks can fly at whatever the detonation velocity of this stuff is. I will laugh so hard if I find a perfectly intact rubber duck in my mucker bucket. Time to go.
Boom, Wally.
Leroy! Shut the fan off to depressurize the bag and keep it from bursting from the reverse pressure.
Should boom by now.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what a 10x10 drifting round sounds like from the surface.
Oh, you did a lot of this. I guess an explosive is missing.
So please bear with the beeping. It's the low alert on a carbon monoxide meter. That's below the 8-hour MSHA limit for a full shift. It's just notifying us that it's present. We've been ventilating out with the bazooka blower and wetting down the face for a bit. Barred down, wet down a whole bunch of stuff because wet muck will it'll fall a lot more easily than dry muck will. It's kind of crazy. You put a garden hose on it and you'll have stuff the size of a grapefruit start falling off the face. So right side of the face, andesite with some fine quartz stringers. Left side of the face, things start to get more interesting. So we've got extensive iron staining in here. And compare to this, just dry quartz stringers. And then we start to see a little bit of pyrite up in there. Extensive iron staining, fault gouge. And in the face we have, throw my hand in there for scale. Looks like chalcopyrite, banded sulfides, which are a very good ore indicator in this district historically. And we've got whatever's going on here. Some very dark sulfide. So we've got a grab sample of this, probably assay it. It's small, but it's interesting. It's very interesting. And by our measurement, the shot pulled right about 5 feet out. You can see our back of hole right there. So that's not bad. And then with additional barring down and probably scraping the face a little bit with the LHD, we'll gain a little bit more, especially down in there towards the burn. That's always pretty heavily fragmented because our powder factor is highest there. Like that slab right there, that'll drop with a bar. But it looks good. It's an even face. It's reasonably arched. And we have all of this geologic interestingness. This is exciting. We're going to keep driving on this and start sampling. So, once again, this has been Port 1119 with Headframe Hunters. Thank you all very much for watching, guys, and adios.